Alright guys, so we're going to continue on with the haunted house vector illustration using Illustrator. We're going to start in step 11. So go ahead and click on this hill shape right here once. And then it wants you to go to your object menu up at the top. You're going to hover over path, and then you're going to select offset path. We don't have to make any of these changes, so you're going to leave it as the default, which is the 10 pixels and then the limit to 4. You should have already seen a duplicate pop up here, so you're just going to hit OK. Don't click on anything else, and we're going to do that one more time. So object, path, offset path, and leave the defaults again. Alright, if you hover over, don't click, just hover, you should see that there's now 3 copies of this hill. And we want to start off with the copy that we have selected now. It wants us to change the fill color to be none, and then the stroke to be this blue color, and the width to be 4 pixels. So let's just go ahead and then hit this little arrow right here to swap the fill and the stroke. And then we're going to come to our appearance properties, and then we're going to increase this to 4 pixels. Alright, sorry about that, y'all. So we did that one already. We're going to click on the first copy that we made here. Again, you want to hit this little arrow to swap the stroke and the fill. Then we're going to come to our properties panel to increase the stroke width to 4 points. Okay, step 12 wants us to use the scissor tool to cut along the path at points A, B, C, and D. So those points you have to look at Schoology for the reference. But again, it's up to you where you want to make the cuts of the fence. So the scissors tool is right behind the eraser tool, so you can right click on it and then look for scissors. And so my point B is somewhere around over here. And then my point A is somewhere over here. So I'm just going to click on this anchor point. D is somewhere over here. And then C is somewhere out here. Okay. So once you've made your cuts, you're going to go over to your selection tool. We're going to remove some of these areas now that we don't need them. So this one's already highlighted for me, so I'm just going to hit delete on my keyboard. Click on this one and hit delete. So we're left with something like this. Okay, so next we're going to use the line tool to create multiple columns of the destroyed fence. So that looks like it's set up already, and then the stroke is 4 points. Okay, excellent. So let's go ahead and create some of these posts here. So somewhere like this. And you're free to add more if you wanted to add more. And one more over here. Okay, so I'm just going to see how everything looks. It's looking good. So we're going to move on to step 13. It says to the right of the castle, create some crooked crosses and headstones. These elements are created with the help of the line segment tool. Okay. So let's go ahead and do some of those. Going to create a cross, and I can actually do it off over here and increase the width here, maybe 10. And if I click on the word stroke, I can make the ends be a bit rounder. This is if you wanted to. I might have a little bit of both. So what that looks like. I'm gonna select both and hit right click group. Okay, I'm gonna make another one this time. Instead of it being rounded, I'm gonna have it not be rounded. Oops. Okay, I'm gonna group these. Actually, I want this one over here. Right, and you can definitely add more tombstones here if you wanted to match the example. The tombstone would probably be, what I recommend is the rectangle tool. Oops, make sure you change it to have a fill. And then grabbing these points right here, just the top ones, to round them in will give you that look. Trying to scale this down and it's scaling pretty weird. So I'm going to do right click. Actually, I'm going to go to object, expand. That is so strange. So I'm gonna maybe make it smaller. Okay. Right. Going to hold down Shift while I'm only clicking on those top two. There we go. That was a little trickier than I wanted it to be. Okay. Alright, so this is a good place to do a file save. And then we're going to move on to creating the moon next.